Let me put you on game. Don't listen to people who lose or you'll do the same. Stop talking to people who don't give a f*** what you saying. Stop spending your money on weed, go hop on a plane. Stop pointing the finger and stop.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Pursuit of Wealth podcast. Today, we're actually we're on tour. We're at the Sneak Easy store here in Idaho Falls. We've got this awesome backdrop here, and we're back with another episode featuring Garret Myers. So you were a hot topic on our first season, so we wanted to bring you back and kind of get a little bit more information out of you, where you're at on your wealth journey now compared to last year, how last year went, and kind of things that you're doing today. So how was 2023 for you?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm honored. Thank you. 2023 was a crazy year.
Yeah.
It had some really high highs. It obviously had some really low lows as well, but
Yeah.
all things considered, I think it was an incredible year.
What were some of those highs?
So our sales force crushed it. My main job is obviously I'm a partner at a door-to-door pest control company called Aptive. And we produced just under $23 million in revenue with our little group.
Wow.
So
Is that the biggest year you've had?
it's essentially the biggest. We did in 2022, we did 16 million. So It was like a pretty heavy growth
Big
year
jump.
for us.
16 to 23.
Yeah.
Wow. And there's correlation year 23, and you did 23 million in volume there. That's crazy.
Michael Jordan year.
Michael Jordan
We're
year,
going
yeah.
to Kobe year this year.
At 24. What were some of those lows that you experienced?
Yeah. So I guess the biggest low would be my best friend Chandler lost his wife, and that happened in May. So that was for sure like a hard wake up call for, just so many things, but life's short and can be crazy. But yeah, Chandler's doing really well now, and we're proud of him, and you take from it some lessons and remember her with a lot of love.
Yeah. No, that's probably, diving into that a little bit. You're Chandler's best friend, one of his best friends.
I would proclaim myself as best friend.
I would think so too. I don't want to step on any toes if there's other best friends out there, but how was that experience for you? Because that's probably something that doesn't get talked about, but going through that, you probably lean on your best friend for a lot.
Yeah. No, it was hard. Like, I get emotional anytime I think about it. My wife and I talk about it, like weekly, honestly, even daily often. My wife was really good friends with Maddie. It was really hard. Like, hard to see someone you love, hard to see my best friend go through that, hard to see Maddie go through it, hard to see her family, hard to see Chandler's family. It's just hard. It doesn't make any sense. There's no real answer.
Yeah.
You just kind of got to recognize that. I think I've actually thought a lot about this and talked to my life coach who we talked about last time, Nate, about this as well. Like, I think maybe the biggest takeaway, the most important thing to remember is really that you do have to just take advantage of the time you have. And Maddie is someone who did that like full force. Like she was so happy every day we saw her, even up to the very end. She was kind and thinking about everyone else and like just a perfect person.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember that.
And I think it's cool because it's like out of everything else, that's what you're going to remember most about somebody is like how they made you feel and like their spirit and just how they were as a person. It's like you're probably not thinking about, what they did for work or what all the other things that we think are important. It's like at the end of the day when you're gone, people are going to remember how you treated them and how you made them feel. Yeah. So I don't know Chandler as well. Hung around him a little bit, but we had the opportunity to go to that funeral as well. And it was really heavy. Like I remember going home and like listening to that song that was played there. And like, just the thought of like, I couldn't like breathe. And so I can't even imagine being so close to that and like experiencing that. Did that put anything like, was there any perspective change for you or like?
Yeah, for sure. Like one of my biggest goals, from then till now, and going forward, is to do things that we'll remember. Like I talk about that with my wife all the time. Like the day-to-day can be so mundane. But if you focus on doing things you'll remember, like I think that's a big part of what makes life meaningful and purposeful. And so we have a long ways to go, but that's like a perspective shift that we've had. My wife, Emma, has said that she was, I think a lot of people deal with like some hard times in life. And Emma went through like a hard season kind of leading up to that, before that. And she said that like just seeing how much strength and courage Maddie had, like, has totally helped her become better and become a new person in a lot of ways. And I feel that too. Like, yeah, big perspective shifts. Just real estate's awesome. Like, business is awesome. Maybe something we will talk about, but there's like 3 pillars that to me make the most sense and matter most. And this is also like from Nate, the life coach guy, but you've got financials, you've got relationships, and you've got health. Mm-hmm. And if any one of those is out of whack, like, life gets pretty crazy. If your health is bad, but the other 2 are perfect, life's still really hard. If your relationships are terrible, but you have unlimited money and you're really healthy, like, life is still really hard. Or if you have no money, but great relationships and great health, like, life's still hard. So trying to focus a lot on those 3 things. Like, business is awesome, real estate's awesome, but you got to have the other parts of life in check as well.
Yeah. I think that's super valuable. Like, we even talked about that at our team retreat this year. Instead of just setting like production and business goals, we set goals around those 3 pillars. It was, what is the business income goal? We had 4, but it was like, what is your wealth goal for this year? But then also, what is your relationship goals and what is your health goals? Because you're right. It's like, if any of those are whack, I can go out and sell 100 houses or 23 million in pest control. But if I come home and my spouse resents me and I don't have good relationships, or my kids, I don't have the relationship with them, it's like, well, then what does it all matter?
Yeah, what's the point?
And likewise, I can have good relationships and good money, but if like I personally don't love myself because I'm not in the shape that I want to be in, or like I'm not healthy, then what's the point too? So I love that you shared that, because I think that's so important. I think a lot of people get caught up in one avenue of those. And it's like, you've got to find that. It's like a 3-legged stool.
Yeah. Figure
out the balance between all 3 to really try to find that happiness.
I think you and I are both down a few pounds since we did this last year.
We are. Yeah. And we both, I copied Garret. I think you might've been buzzed last year, but I buzzed my hair recently. From your inspiration, like, honestly, you were a key thing. I'm like, Garret looks pretty good with his hair buzzed, and it looks like super low maintenance. I need to try it. So
it's the buzz head is a hack.
Yeah.
It's a good way to go.
But I'm still wearing a hat. So, but no, I think that's so important. I think having that change of, even like having something like that in your life occur, it puts things into perspective on like truly what's important. And it's cool. You still went out and you still had a big year this year.
Yeah.
But like something that we're doing this year, I don't know if you guys do something similar, but one of our core things is like, we want to create core memories. Like, our goal is like, we want 3 core memories to be created this year. And over a 3-year period, it's like, we want 10 core memories to be created. So then it's like, what are those core memories that we want to create? And we like plan, like, a lot of them are going to revolve around vacations. So it's like, we're going to go, whether it's take Soph to Disneyland or go take her to Hawaii. And that's like a core memory. Because looking back at like even the last 10 years of my life, everything that we've done in business and stuff is cool. And the clients that we've helped is cool. But like, I get the most satisfaction when I'm looking back at photos of the family that we, a trip that we took. And like, those are just the core memories that stick with us. And I've never regretted spending money on those things. And so, but I think like people in our world, they can get really dialed in on getting producing as much as they can production wise. And then either like spending it on flashy things or spending it all on investments, which also I think is like, there's a balance. Do you have any kind of like ratio that you try to do of, hey, we commit, X amount of money to kind of memories, or I know you guys have a lot of fun. So
yeah, no, growing up, my dad, always said, like, my parents are 2 of the people that I admire most in this world. And I mean, for so many reasons, but we certainly weren't like rich, like by any stretch of that word. We didn't ever go without either. We were just right in the middle.
Yeah.
And I think we could have been richer. Like, my dad certainly could have worked more and could have prioritized earning more and could have spent less. And like, I think we could have been, rich, but he always said, like, I'd way rather prioritize fun now and be a little more frugal when I'm 60, or work a few more years when I'm 65. Like, he said that all the time. And so like, we had a boat when I was in high school, and just remembering those things, it's priceless. Like, you can't get that time back. And we did a lot of awesome stuff.
Yeah.
And so I don't have like a formula or, hey, I should invest this much, but I for sure try and invest as much as I can. But then I also try and always prioritize like fun things and things that will, provide core memories. Like boating for me is like a huge one. And I didn't do enough of that last year, and I really want to do more of that this year.
Yeah.
So there's things like that.
And you've got that really nice boat, which I need to go check it out this summer. But that being said, like, I think you're right. I think I've seen a lot of people that are so frugal getting started. And it's like, you have to find that balance, but it's also, I would rather you create the core memories. The way I look at it is I'd rather create the core memories with my kids while I'm like physically here and can like capable to do those things versus, put everything into retirement. And then, 65 comes and it's like, cool, I can retire. But like, I'm also like, retire to do what? What can I do at 65? It's spend time at home watching TV with the kids. Like, like what's, so I like that you shared that. It's I've been like a big advocate for that. My parents even say, they're building their wealth and, talking about like how things will get dispersed and who's going to get what. And I'm like, honestly, I don't care about getting anything. I spend the money. Like you guys are still in your like early 50s, spend the money now. Like, don't be worried about passing things down to the kids. Like, we'll figure it out. I would rather the kids are going to remember the trips we took as a family or the things that we did together while you were here versus getting a $200,000 check when you're gone. It's like, that's cool, but like, I'd rather have spent the money while you're with you while you're here,
100%.
So, so you've been still buying real estate this year, despite the market.
Yeah.
How many properties are you at right now?
So, I'm up to 48 rental units.
Wow.
Some of those are co-owned, and we bought 2 fourplexes in Ohio that I bought with like a group of 2 or 3 guys.
Okay.
And then I own a couple duplexes with my little brother, Andrew. So I'm up to 48 units, probably like 36 to 38 of those are personally owned.
Wow.
And then I'm under contract on 6 personal units
right now,
and 18 like we're trying to raise some money, so 18 I guess fund units that we're raising money for. So it's my first time doing that.
And where's that project that you're raising money for?
So the 18 plex is in Memphis, Tennessee, which I've never even been to Memphis, so gotta go out there.
What spiked because most of your properties are here in Idaho. What spiked the transition to look in Memphis?
So and then we have those 2 fourplexes in Cleveland, Ohio. So this last year, when I started investing in Idaho, prices were cheap. Like, and Chandler, like I saw him invest in Idaho before me because I lived in Utah. Yeah. But you could buy a duplex there's this duplex that I still remember. Like, it was when I first moved here. I got it under contract at $138,000. Oh man. And I went to see it, and it was like just a little bit rough. Like it smelled a little bit like smoke. It was on the numbered streets. And I was just a new investor. And I remember like walking through it and just feeling uneasy because I didn't have systems and I didn't have a property manager. Yeah. And I passed it to Chandler because I was like, oh, this is like too rough. Like too rough for me. And Chandler was like licking his chops. He's like, oh, this thing's rented out at, $2,000 a month. It's $140,000. Like, this is a steal. And I was the agent for the deal. So I still made a couple $1,000, but I always remember that because I passed on it then. And now like it's probably worth $260,000 or $270,000, like easy. And so when I started investing in Idaho, like it was cheap properties that could rent out for quite a bit. Yeah. And Idaho now is not cheap. Like I don't know where it ranks, but properties have really like doubled in the last 4 or 5 years. We've been one of the highest ranking home or like appreciation states for the last 5 years. Yeah. Like it's crazy. Like Rockwell homes. I remember people buying Rockwell homes for $160,000. Yep. And now the new build Rockwells are $385,000. And that's actually cheaper than they were. They're $430,000. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's crazy. So, Memphis, Ohio, some of those Midwestern states, they still have like really low prices. Like the fourplexes that we bought, we paid $200,000 a pop. This 18 plex. What do they rent for? $200,000 a pop. So it's a lot of like Section 8 stuff. So you get government subsidized rent, which I'm learning about. I don't think we have as much of that here, but out there it's really common. But we'll get $800 to $1,200 per unit. So call it 1,000 unit on average, like they'll rent it 3,600 to 4,000 a month
for 200,000.
Yeah, and we paid 200,000 for each.
So they cash flow really well. Why do you think why do you think their values are cheaper there?
Yeah. I think,
and the rents are still relatively high. Like,
yeah, it's a great question. I think there's other trade-offs. Like in Idaho, I've never experienced a lot of vacancy. In Ohio, so far we have. Like I think we've got at least one unit that's still vacant, and we bought the place like 5 months ago.
Got it. Okay.
But it's like we're cash flowing with 3 units. We're cash flowing with 2 units.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world. But I think there's some trade-offs. Like there's definitely more vacancy. I feel like the demographic is different. Like it's really easy to, well, it's not, I won't say it's really easy, but it's relatively easy to have just great renters here. And I don't know if that's quite as common out there. I also think like, so meet Kevin, who's like a big YouTube guy. If people watch him, he's awesome. He came out here one time and we hung out with him for a couple days, Chandler and myself.
Yeah.
And he talked a lot about catch-up appreciation. Like he called it then, and I wish we would have listened even more than we did. But he's like, yeah, Idaho's going through catch-up appreciation. He's like, if you look back like 20 years, and I remember this with my parents, like they bought a house when I was 8 or 10 that they paid $130,000 for.
Yeah.
And they tried to sell it 10 years later and they couldn't even get 170 out of it.
Wow.
And so Idaho then like didn't really appreciate much, but then we had a ton of catch-up appreciation. And I think that's where some of those Midwestern states are at, where like they haven't really had much appreciation for forever. And I'm hoping that we can time it and we can catch it before they have a ton of catch-up appreciation.
Interesting. I've heard of catch-up appreciation, but I've never thought maybe that is what's going on in the Midwest. I always just thought like, it's probably cheaper because nobody wants to live there. But obviously there's people that want to live there if there's stuff that's getting built. Does the Section 8 housing, like, does that scare you getting into that?
It does. I think the key though is having like a rock star team. Like I'm honestly I'm not really involved with it.
Yeah.
Because we have a property manager and then we have another guy out there who's kind of like a realtor investor overseer.
Okay.
And so it does scare me, but I'm not really involved in it. And so I'm just trusting that those guys will do their job, and they've done it hundreds of times before. And I'm sure they'll figure it out again. And I also I'm not like, most of my portfolio is here. It's a really small chunk. And so we're kind of just sampling it. And then if it goes well, I think we'll go more and more out there.
Interesting.
But got to see if it goes well first.
Well, that's like, I think last time we talked, you were at 30 units or so, making the jump up to like 48 with another 6 plus 18 plex, that you're raising money on. You're starting to scale like really quickly.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how it goes? You feel like the first little bit, it just takes time to get your first few properties.
Yeah.
But I think we've seen it with Chandler. I'm seeing it with you right now. It's like you're first getting to 30, 40, but then it's like a snowball. Yeah. It's like adding another 20 in a year isn't unreasonable. Where probably when you first started, that was like adding 20 in a year. It was like, maybe I'll buy 1 or 2. Have you noticed that? Has it gotten just easier to get deals? Why do you think that is?
I think, so I think if you do things the right way and you treat people well and you're generous in areas that matter to other people, and obviously you got to make the deal work. But I think if you do things right, like eventually people you kind of have like a reputation. And I think, well, you do, like you have a reputation for better or worse.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get a good one, like, I mean, you brought me a great deal yesterday.
Yeah. Starting to think maybe I should, I'm just kidding.
I think people bring you stuff that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Luke, my property manager, brought me a 4-plex deal that it's like the deal that I'm most excited about from the last few years. And
it's the one you're renovating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you get some of that. I think you get like relationships with the bank. Like it's so much easier to get approved for stuff now than it was 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm also at a point where I'm earning more money, which helps a ton. Like
sure.
You can get into real estate with little or no money. That's a really trendy topic on social media, but it's way easier if you do it with money. Yeah. So the more you make, the easier it gets. I think you're more willing to take calculated risks. Like I should have bought that duplex 5 or 6 years ago when I flipped it to Chandler.
Yeah.
I would for sure buy that now. Like I'd buy it all day.
Yeah.
So I think you get better at taking calculated risks, things like that.
because looking at that, I'm like, even the deals that we've brought you, I will probably kick myself 5-10 years from now for like not buying those, which is fine. I think, you know, you're in that spot and I'm in this spot right now. Cause a lot of those still too, I'm the same way. I walk into a property, I'm like, man, that seems like a lot of work. Even though I have a good team and I got a crew that could do stuff. It's almost like I'm busy with other things and I'm just like, I just don't even want to deal with it right now. What was the change for you? Like, getting from this looks like too much work, I don't want to deal with it, to like, you're pulling the trigger on everything. That's a decent deal. You're like, I'll take it. Yeah.
Some of it I think is also strategy. Like, you were talking to me about how you do like some hard money stuff, and obviously you're doing flips. Like for me, my strategy right now is just buy and hold. Like I just want to acquire as much as I can, because I've started to see how that appreciation can make a dramatic effect. And I've started to see how wealth can be built through that strategy. So that's my thing right now. And then also tax benefits, like cost segregating real estate and utilizing that tax strategy has been a game changer. So a lot of stuff makes sense for me right now that probably wouldn't have 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. Which, no, that's a good point. I think you go through different phases where things, when you're at a higher income level, so you're going to take advantage of things that, you know, are tax savings that other people that don't have that income level aren't going to necessarily be able to take advantage of. But I also think that part of you is probably clicked. It's like, we've got one rental property and a few flips going right now. We haven't seen that gain in wealth. So, I mean, you know, our rental property's gone up a few $100,000, but I think you're at a point where you had 20 properties that you've bought over the last like 10 years that you've done the principal pay down with, that rents have increased and your payments stayed relatively the same. So your cash flows have increased significantly, that you're starting to see like, oh, if I hold a property for 5 or 10 years, that's where it gets really fun. And so that's probably part of it too, is like, you're like, oh, okay, this is just a long-term game, where getting into real estate at first, a property that cash flows a couple $100 is like pretty standard.
Yeah.
It's not exciting. But I think you're at a point where it does get exciting. Like, hey, now I'm cash flowing more than just a few $100, and I'm looking at this net worth number because my principal pay down has gone down and the asset's gone up in value. And so I'm kind of reiterating it for myself to be like, hey, idiot, like, look at what Garrett's doing, you know? But sometimes you have to watch other people do it. And I'm excited. Like the deals that we brought you, I'm super excited about. I think that you're going to crush it. I think that 3 to 5 years from now, I'll be willing to do more of those deals. But I think you go through different, I think one, like you said, a strategy. It's like not my strategy right now. Yeah. But it could change.
Well, and the cool thing about real estate, like there's a ton of different ways to make money on things. Like you can make money through buy and hold. You can make money through wholesaling. You can make money just being an agent. You can make money flipping stuff. Developing is something that you're doing at a pretty high level right now. And I've never developed. And we've talked about like, hey, obviously I invested
you're in one.
Yeah. I'm in your project, which I'm excited to watch that and hopefully learn the ropes. And I mean, I think like, if we're honest, that's probably where the most money is, at least if you can do it at a high level and at a large scale.
The most risk is, but the most money as well.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, you've done a lot of different things to make money.
Yeah.
You've ran landscaping company, you've sneaker store, you've done pest control, real estate, you've sold, like being an agent in real estate. What's your favorite way to make money? Like what's your preference?
So, I actually I've thought a lot about this and I made a reel about it the other day. If I could go back in time, I would forego most business things and I would just try. And I mean, other people will have other advice. Like other people have different storylines that have worked for them. But for me, like sales has provided me an incredible income. Door-to-door sales has obviously been my bread and butter. And that's where I've grown the most and made the most. I've also tasted it in real estate. Like I'm a part-time agent, but I'm a part-time agent that sells a decent amount of real estate. And I had 1 year where I crushed it. I think I sold I don't even know, 10 million in real estate that 1 year. Like it was back when Idaho was still booming and I had all these sales reps that were buying and Chandler was buying.
You did like 20 something sales or transactions, right?
It was awesome.
Yeah. Which is that's a good income for a side income. Most agents don't sell that being full-time agents, which is kind of incredible. It shows kind of your potential if you actually did get into real estate full-time, what that could look like. But it cracks me up because then you're like, you texted Brianna today. She's like, Garrett's with Real, right? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, he just asked who the designated broker is. So like, I promise he does do a lot of deals. He's just not as involved in real estate right now.
My brain is like funny because I feel like I remember everything that like really matters.
Yeah.
But then things that I'm like, for some reason I label as like, that's an unimportant detail. It's like Teflon. Like I can't remember it. Like the responsible broker, I look it up every time I write an offer because I'm like, I've written this guy's name 15 times, but I can't remember his name. So I don't know. But yeah, if I could go back in time, I would go all in on sales. Real estate's an excellent venue. Door-to-door sales is an excellent venue. There's other venues that I'm sure are also amazing. Mm-hmm. And then I would go all in on investing. Like, those are the two areas that I believe in the most.
Investing stock market or just real estate?
I'm sure you can in the stock market. I've lost money. I hit the sell trigger too fast and the buy trigger too fast. So for me, real estate, like I would only buy real estate. I wouldn't invest in startups. I wouldn't invest in angel investments. I wouldn't do any of that. I would just buy a ton of properties.
Yeah.
And if you're someone who doesn't know anything about real estate, start with one, or hitch your wagon to a company that is already crushing it. Like this fund that we're raising money for, I think it's a home run deal. And like a lot of the guys that are investing, they just want to learn about it. Yeah. And it's an awesome way to do that. So like the sneaker store, it's amazing. I love the sneaker store. It's brought me a ton of like intrinsic value.
Yeah.
But as far as like a moneymaker, I think you'd be hard pressed to make money on a sneaker store, at least somewhere like Idaho.
Yeah.
The lawn care company, I could see how you could make money with it, but it's very hands-on. And like, I mean, it's a full-time job, even just managing a crew of 2 people.
Yeah.
Christmas lights, that business was actually awesome.
Yeah.
We just sold that business this year. I think if I lived in a warmer market, it's actually similar to door-to-door pest control sales where you could crush it on that.
Yeah.
But in Idaho, it's hard because your window's so short and your liability is so high.
Yeah.
So it was fun, but I'm glad I'm done with that one.
Because like you said, I think you're right. If you can just focus on one thing and get really good at that one activity, you could really, over a period of time, it'll probably be your best bet. But it's hard because you get sidetracked with like so many other opportunities that get placed in front of you.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, this could do really good. Like, let me throw some money here and like, oh, this guy's got a startup. Let me just throw like 20, 30K there. And if it hits it at a home run, it will, that'll be great. Yeah. But then you look at like the actual percentages of businesses that take off or like do good. And it's so low that it's like almost if you just didn't take any of those risks and you just focused, like dialed in focused. I'm saying this, I do the same thing. It's like, we've got real estate, property management, construction, flips, running a team. So I'm with you. I'm like doing all these other things, but it makes me think every once in a while, like, what if I just cut it back and it was just like, here's the one thing that we're doing and how much better I could be at that one thing. So are you doing anything else besides investing in real estate, or have you kind of cut it back? Cause you were doing crypto and
I do have some crypto. Like I'm just kind of riding the wave. And I think everybody says this year, crypto is going to blow up, whether it does or doesn't. Like I'll probably exit my crypto investment this year because I just want to put that money into real estate.
Yeah.
But that's it. Like Sneakeasy, we're going to keep running forever.
Yeah.
It's like honestly probably losing money. Like if we're completely honest.
Yeah.
But a lot of that's because we've really tried to use it as an avenue to like give back to the Idaho Falls community and the surrounding area. And so like, I'm okay with that because that's an important value for me.
Sure.
I mean, I love the business.
Yeah.
So we'll keep running Sneakeasy. I'll keep crushing it at Aptive for perpetually forever. Who knows? And then I'm going to keep funneling as much money as I can into real estate. Like that's definitely my play for the next few years.
Do you have a number of real estate that you want to, like, is there a number that you're trying to get to net worth wise or unit count wise?
I feel like all numbers are just like, they're cool, but if it has meaning attached to it, that's an awesome thing. I don't really have a number that has like a ton of meaning attached to it, but like 100 units would be awesome. Mm-hmm. I publicly said at an Aptive meeting last year that I was going to try and get to 100 units this year, which is I didn't think there was any way that would happen.
Yeah.
But I think it could happen this year. Like if this fund goes well and we're able to help make all of our investors money and I think there's a world that could happen.
Yeah.
Will it happen? I don't know, but that's like my next big goal.
That's huge. I need to send you a lot more deals apparently this year.
Please.
So you can get there. The reason I ask is because is there like a number in your head where like you would slow down?
Yeah, no, so I'm 32. I already feel it, like, especially one of the first topics we talked about was Maddie. And I for sure, like, I'm not someone who wants to be a billionaire. I'm not someone who wants to be 100 millionaire. Like, I just want to have a good life. And I'm honestly really happy with, like, if I just stayed at my same level, I'd be stoked. Like, I'm super grateful, super happy with where I'm at. And so I do think about that a lot, but I'm also someone who's like heavily addicted to work. Like, I think it's an actual addiction. Like, I have to be doing something.
Yeah.
My kids are still really young. So there's not like if I was done adaptive, I think I could probably sell a couple of the cars and be like, I think I could be pretty sustained. My philosophy, whether this is a good philosophy or a bad philosophy, is like, I might as well keep my foot on the gas while we're seeing so much awesome stuff happen. And, you know, whenever that changes, I think I'll probably readjust strategy, but just trying to make the most of every day for now.
Yeah. I love that. It's hard when you have as much momentum as you have right now.
Yeah.
It's like you're kind of like you've built up a lot of momentum over the last few years, and if you keep going, you're going to get a lot of that reward.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is I saw a podcast, and it was a guy, one of the Dave Ramsey guys, and he was on Graham Stephan's like iced coffee hour, and he asked Graham, he's like he's a Harvard psychologist, and he asked Graham, like, you know, what's your number? And Graham was like, he threw out like 50 million. He's like, where does that come from? And Graham was like, well, 50 million, you know, I think 20 million gives me the life that I really want to live, and I wouldn't have anything. And then I want to double that just in case like the market, you know, just lost half of its value and stuff. And then I want a little bit of extra just like in case. So it was like 20 turned into 40, which turned into 10 more. And he's like, okay, I promise you with that, like a 50 will turn into 100 as soon as you get to 50. Cause he's like, it's not based in reality. It's just like, he called it like a sedative for these kind of, we're the kind of people that are always going to push the goalposts out.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I've actually thought a lot about this, because when I got home from my mission, like, I remember telling myself, if I can make 80 grand a year, like, I'll just be so grateful and pumped.
Yep.
And I remember the first time I made 80 grand, I'm like, oh, it's awesome. And then the next year it's like, I got to double that or triple it, or, you know, and then real estate, I remember being like, oh, if I could get to 10 units, like, that's enough for me to live a good life. And then I'm like, oh, I got to get to 25, and then it's 50, and then it's 100. I think I just like accepted it's all just an arbitrary number, and you just chase the high, you know?
Yeah. Do you have like, what's your routine? Do you like your life routine?
So I wake up, I'm not much of a morning person. I feel like a lot of self-help gurus are like hardcore. You're a pretty good morning person.
Yeah. Somewhat.
I wake up at like 7:30 or 7:45. I get my kid ready for school. Me and Emma help make him breakfast and help him do his homework. I actually like really enjoy helping him do his homework. He seems smart. That was always something that was important to me. Like, I want my kids to be intelligent.
Yeah.
So I work on his homework with him. I take him to school, drop him off at 8:30. I'll either go to the gym or come here after that. Like today I came here at 8:45. I had a meeting before this. I'm here until like 6 or 6:30 most days.
Yeah.
If I don't go to the gym in the morning, whenever I have a break in meetings, I'll try and go to the gym. I actually have like grown a love and appreciation for exercise again over the last year. I hit 300 pounds last summer, like 305. And that was like a sad day for me. I'm down to 260, which feels good.
Huge. That's huge.
But I only work out for 30 minutes. Like, I go, I hit it really hard for 30 minutes and then I leave. And any longer than that, and I kind of go crazy. And any less than that, and I feel like I didn't do my thing for the day.
30 minutes.
But I go like every day, like even Saturdays. Usually I'll go for 30 minutes.
So I've been trying to get better at that, because I used to be the person that I wasn't as consistent with the gym as I wanted to be. So when I went, I would go for like 2 to 3 hours. Cause I'm like trying to like make up for everything, you know? And I've been better at going in the mornings, and I'm one of the, you know, we're out like go at 6, cold plunge, get to the gym. But I've tried to cut my workouts pretty like 30 to 45 minutes, so that I can get home and spend an hour or two with Soph before head to the office. And so I think the reason I ask kind of what your routine is because somebody could look at you and be like, man, Garrett's just like probably never home and like doesn't get his stuff done that he wants to get done. But you're doing all these things and you're still structuring your day to the day that you want it to be. Yeah. I mean, waking up at the time you want to wake up, spending time with the kids in the morning, taking them to school, deciding if you want to go to the gym at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and then go into the office. So I think it's just important because it sounds like you're designing the life that you want. Yeah. And so as long as you're doing that, it's like, why would you need to stop? Like,
yeah. People always ask me about like I have friends that they want more, which is awesome. Like, I don't think there's anything, some people think more is bad. I think more is awesome. If that's what you want, like get more. But for me, like, I just am genuinely happy and I want to keep working hard and doing my best. But if someone was like, hey, you could have $20 million in 5 years, but you'd need to work 20 hours more a week, I'd honestly probably say no, because I'm like, I like my 20 hours the way they are. Like, I don't, and maybe that's dumb of me, but like, I love my current systems and I love my schedule and so it's like, why stop? Because I'm not always happy, but I am pretty happy with the way things are going.
It says, like, for me, that points out too, that you're confident in your abilities. Like, to say no to 20 million in 5 years to work an extra 20 hours.
I mean, if someone actually said that, like, maybe I would do it. It's easy to say no here.
But I think you've developed over the years enough skills and abilities that you know that, like, I will probably get to 20 million regardless. And it might take me 10 years, but then I can, like, I'll do it the way that I want to do it and spend the time the way I want to spend my time. Somebody that's not as confident in their abilities to make money, if they were presented that opportunity, they would say I would work an extra 100 hours a week to make 20 million, you know? But it's because they don't really have a choice. I think that's why, like, knowledge and getting started in business and getting started in buying real estate, you now have, like, more control over your life. You're like, if I want to go make more, if you know that if you wanted to go make more money, you could. Yeah. You also know that, like, you all don't have to say yes to everything because it's not a single opportunity. You know that you can say no to this, but then go make money elsewhere. I have a mentor out of Arizona, big real estate guy, runs a big team, buys a lot of real estate. And one thing that he said was his biggest thing is he'd block out vacations. He blocks out his full calendar like the year in advance, and he'd block out his family vacations. But then, like, he's always getting presented with opportunities. And so, like, he'd be on the phone or doing a deal or whatever. And he finally just said, I'm no longer, like, blocking out those vacations. And if an opportunity comes or a deal comes or whatever during that time, and it can't wait until I get back, then it's not the right opportunity for me. And, like, he's probably missed out on, like, big development deals and doing all this stuff. But for him, he's like, it's just not the right one for me. He knows that there's an abundance of deals that'll come. And so he's like, if it can't wait till next week, family's important. I'll have more deals later down the road. I don't know if I'm there yet. Like, I still get, anytime there's a deal coming in, we get to hear, but that's my goal, is to get to that point where you're comfortable enough that you don't want to stop, but you can, like, block out those times and say no to things that try to interrupt those times. Are you there yet? What do you? I don't think so. Like, sometimes maybe like here and there, but I'm still really plugged in for sure. I have, like, an opposite goal a little bit. Okay. And this is something that I talked with my, like, mentor, Nate guy, about. So it's just a different philosophy that I haven't really thought about it that way, but I've thought about it this way. So Nate, one of the things that we talked about is he's like, look, like, you are in a place where you have flexibility, and most people, like, they look at vacation as, like, vacation. Like, this is my 1 week or my 3 weeks out of the year where, like, I get me time. And when work intrudes on those things, it's, like, obviously triggering and traumatizing because you're like, this was my shot, and now I'm on the phone. And I've felt that and I experienced that. And, like, that's why I talked to him about it. So I'm like, I want to just be able to say no, but I can't. Like, this important recruiting meeting comes up, or I have a sales rep who needs something, or a real estate deal or whatever.
And he said what he's done, and this is like my eventual goal. I'm nowhere near this, but this is my eventual goal, is he's like, look, dude, like I'm at a place where I have unlimited freedom. And he's like, if it's Friday at noon and I don't want to work, I don't. And he's like, and so I have unlimited vacation, but I also have unlimited work. And so if I'm in Hawaii surfing and I want to work 4 hours one day, that's okay because I can be in Hawaii again tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, that's like a really powerful. So he's like, his philosophy that I've been chewing on the last few months is like, he's always on vacation and work is just a byproduct of like, he works when he wants to.
Yeah.
And he's like, I often want to work. Like I actually work a lot, but he's like, I'm always on vacation.
Yeah.
And so that's like a kind of an opposite, or at least a little different angle that
for sure.
It's cool how different successful people have different philosophies.
Different philosophies. And I think it's because I think freedom means something different to everybody. I think that's like the biggest kicker is like, what does freedom mean to you? I love that philosophy that he's talking about too. As long as I can say no when I don't want to work.
Certainly.
You know what I mean? It's like, because there's definitely times on vacation. Like we work a lot on vacation, but there's days where I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And as long as I can say no during those times and accept that, there's probably gonna be times where I do work and that's okay. I think the biggest thing is like, what is freedom to you? And how do you define it? And then try to solve for that equation. It's like, where's freedom? So what does, in your current state, what does freedom mean for you?
I think freedom for me means that I can focus on the things that are important to me. Like, Aptiv is for sure where I spend like 90% of my time still. Like all my effort goes into that and I believe in it. I think it's the best vehicle for me and my people right now.
Do you enjoy it?
I do usually. Like there's definitely parts and elements that I certainly don't enjoy, but like if I'm honest and if I zoom out and I look at the whole perspective, like I couldn't be more grateful and I couldn't be more aware of how lucky I've been. So freedom for me is like the ability to occasionally when I don't want to focus on those things, say like, hey, I'm going to go all in on real estate for today. Like I'm going to go jam and look at 10 different properties. And like, I love having those other things. And then also like my love language is always adjusting with my family, but like I'm super excited this summer. We've got all of our sales reps going out and I'm super excited to go visit all of them and help them crush it and do amazing. And I think I'm going to try and get to the office. I'm going to become a morning person for the summer because they're all in a different time zone. So I'm going to try and get here by like 7 every day and put.
So you go to the gym with me in the morning?
Maybe this summer. Yeah.
Can I get that in writing?
So
it's just on this table.
I'm going to try and put 5 or 6 hours in like first thing in the morning and then hopefully get the chance to spend some good quality time with my family doing awesome stuff. And I know there will be days where that doesn't happen and obviously weeks where I'm out working and things like that, but like it's something that I'm super excited for and working towards.
That's cool. I mean, with everything, there's always got to be sacrifice involved. But I think that's awesome. I would love for you to be a morning person. I'd love for you. I've been trying to get you to come out and cold plunge with us, but that's I can wait till summer. If that's
I got to get into the cold plunge thing. It's interesting because I'm a big guy. Like I'm definitely I want to lose more weight, but I'm always cold.
Yeah.
So the idea of cold plunging, like right now I'm freezing.
Oh yeah. It's pretty cold in here.
It is. We need a new heater for this shop. The idea of cold plunging is just like that one thing I've never gotten on board with.
It's honestly every time, like every morning when I get in, cause like you walk in and I know my body knows I'm going to dunk. Cause I like start with a dunk and then we sit in there for 3 to 4 minutes. And every time it's like, my body's like, don't do it. Like, don't dunk. Like you're cold, just like get your shoulders in, but like I dunk. And then it feels so good after. It's not something I enjoy doing, but I do it because I don't enjoy doing it. And so like,
you feel like you conquered it.
Yeah. It's like, cool. Like anything else that comes up that's kind of stressful throughout the day. It's like, yeah, I can handle that. Cause I used to get triggered when like things didn't work out the way they're supposed to, or like with real estate, there's always things that are going on. It would bug me all day.
Yeah.
Like I'd get the call about a transaction falling apart and I'll just stew on it and like not want to make that call or not want to do that thing. Now it's like my ability to handle stress, I feel like is increased. That's why I kind of do it. And my wife tells me like, the days that I don't do it, she knows like I'm not in as good of a mood. So she like tells me to go do it. So I've really enjoyed it for that aspect. I know there's like the health benefits behind it that I don't know 100% of the health benefits, but I do feel better when I do it. And so that's why I'm a proponent of it. I think you would like it if you gave it a shot.
I'll do it with you. You have my word this summer.
Okay.
At least a few times.
Okay.
And I mean, man, if it can help me with stress, like it's reason enough to do it.
Yeah. No, I'd be curious to see your take on it too. Like if you do it for a few days, just kind of see how you feel. I'd be curious to see. Do you track your ARV at all? Or not ARV?
You were telling me about that. So I started wearing my Apple Watch more.
Do you have your phone with you?
Uh-huh.
Pull it out.
You have to,
I want to see it. So go to your health app. I just want to see where you're at. And then on your health app, go to heart
rate variability.
Yeah. What is your average? That is good.
92. But it says average 61 though. It just changed.
Okay. What was the 92 at?
92 is today.
Today?
My month is 65.
Okay. So 90, like today you're not stressed.
I must be chilling.
Today's a good day for you.
I knew you were coming, so I got happy.
Which is kind of interesting because the guy, the coach that we talked to, that he looks at it and he could literally see like what days was it down and like what was going on that day, or like what was going on that month, or there's a 2-week break that your heart rate variability was down. Oh, well, the kids were out for like spring break that week and they were home, and so like stress is higher. You could like pinpoint it. 60s, like my goal this year is to get to 75.
Okay.
I'm like, you're better than me. I'm like in the 40s. But when I first looked at it, I was like at 35, 35, 40. Kind of made some progress. A healthy, I think for our age, healthy number is between 75 and 100.
Okay.
So like today, you're almost there.
Got some work though.
But it's like your ability. That's part of it, is just your ability to handle stress. So I'd be curious if you start cold plunging and doing those things, if that number increases at all. Do you have any kind of health goals this year that you're shooting for?
Yeah. So I've been, when I was younger, I'm 30, like I say, I'm 32 now, which is weird. Like that's something that I think I'm coming to terms with. I always define myself as like a young, successful person.
Yep.
Now I'm like, I'm middle-aged, kind of.
Kind of supposed to be at this point.
Yeah, I'm like, I should have my life in order, which I'm young at heart because I work with so many young people.
Yeah.
But I was like really into fitness. Like for a while, that was my life.
Yeah.
And then I got married and had kids and worked more. And
sorry to interrupt you. I saw a picture of you the other day, the boat one.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, Garrett's got abs. Dude was fit.
Dude, I'll show you this other picture. I like keep it on my phone because it's a reminder of what I once had. But the most in shape I ever was probably not long after that. But I was running, I was working out twice a day. I was eating like perfect.
Wow.
Like I was into it. And just like not every, but a lot of people that age, like that was my thing.
Yeah. And
then life threw me a curveball and, here I am now, but I don't want to get back to that point, but I do want to feel good. Like I want to feel great. I'm into strength again. Like I've always liked like strong lifts.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get my bench up, trying to get my shoulder press up, slowly starting to ease some leg workouts back in there.
What's your goal through bench that you want to hit?
I did 445 not long ago. I don't know. I think I would have to commit to like bulking back up, but I'd love to bench 500. Like that would be so cool.
Dude, if you bench 500 pounds, going to the gym 30 minutes a day,
it'd be insane.
Be insane. I need to start working out with you so I can put up some bigger weight. But for even 440, that's huge. Yeah. What do you, in shoulder press, what are you doing?
I guess incline bench press, I've done 385.
Wow.
Shoulder press itself, I think I've done 275. I don't have I'd like to incline press 405 is like another thing that I would really like to do.
Just an animal, dude.
I'm trying.
When the last time you came over to play poker at the house and you're like, had that thought, you're like, yeah, I've been thinking maybe I could just like make a journey and go make a route for the NFL. Yeah. The more you're putting up these numbers, man, I'm like, maybe you could. Like, I will support this.
That's a long time dream that will never happen, but it's fun to think about.
It's so cool. But it's funny that like sometimes you get that confidence, that thought of confidence, of just like, I think I could do that.
Yeah.
Like I'll say stuff like that to Brain.
It's like realistically there's no shot, but like I could do that.
I think I could do that. Yeah. It's that false sense of confidence. What are you most excited about this year?
It's a great question. So I always end up talking about Nate and conversations that I've had with Nate with you, which is funny because it's not what I talk about every day, but I guess these are more meaningful conversations. So maybe that's why, is because it brings me so much meaning.
How long have you been coaching with Nate?
I'm at about a year, like almost a year.
Cool.
And it's been awesome. Like, I don't know about all other like life coach mentor guys, but at least my experience has been amazing.
That's cool.
So something that we've talked about is he says that he like zooms out on his life and he thinks about things that he's like 20, 30 years from now. He's like, I can't believe I didn't ever do this, and like enter that phrase. And so for me, there's a few things like that. Like, my wife and I are really into concerts right now, which is kind of funny, but I want to take her to unfortunately Post Malone doesn't have any concerts, but we've been to 2, and that's like one of the best days of my life was the last one we went to. So I want to take her to another Post Malone concert whenever that happens. I want to go fishing with my dad and brothers in Alaska.
Oh,
that's like a big, I just have always wanted to do that.
I have a trip for you.
Yes. Sign me up.
I've got a guy that owns a buddy that owns a lodge in like Strawberry, Alaska. And that's what they do is like guided fish,
oh, it sounds incredible.
deep water fish tours. And so
Count me
I'll
in.
let you know. Okay.
Active took me deep sea fishing with Blacktip H out of Miami
a
couple times. And I would love to do that again. I don't know if it'll happen, but I would be really excited about that. And then as far as like, there's a bunch of things like that. I could talk about that for 20 minutes, but as far as like work, I'm really excited to optimize our sales force at Aptiv. Like, we're getting way more efficient. Our per-rep average is coming way up. I feel like our guys are better trained than they've ever been, more disciplined than they've ever been. I'm really excited for that. And then I'm all in on trying to get to 100 units. Also, we're redoing our house because our house flooded. That was something that you said before.
We probably need to spin off and talk about that because I do want to talk about that. But
yeah, I'm excited to redo our house. Like, we've always talked about it, and this is the year that it has to happen. So cool.
I guess we've talked about all of the benefits of buying real estate and how it can create wealth and stuff and everything that's associated with that. But you, aside from last year, like, you had a pretty rough start of the year.
Yeah.
January was really rough with things that you put up with your real estate. So what tell us a little bit, like what all happened in the last 4 or 5 weeks? Yeah.
So my house flooded. And that one I've posted on social media quite a bit. Essentially my wife and I were gone for the day. Mm-hmm. We had a contractor and a plumber working on helping us redo our upstairs. We were adding a second shower head. I always make a joke here that my wife never appreciates, so I'll skip it this time. But, yeah, 2 shower heads is better than 1. And so somehow the plumber capped the pipe to the second shower head and then it burst off. And so it was just open flow, full force for like 6 or 7 hours. And all 3 floors of our house have been since ripped out. And that's like been it's one of those things that I think we'll remember forever.
Oh, yeah.
And that's helped with like some other perspective shifts. And I've had some really cool experiences with that. And in a lot of ways it's brought us closer because it's like, oh, we're going through something together. And, it's not a health thing either. That's comparing like this year's hard things to last year's hard things. It's like, oh, it's nothing. Mm-hmm. Like this is, you could take all my cars and house and I could live in an apartment and like, I'd be pumped as long as everyone I love is healthy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that, and then rental properties, I guess with more rental properties also comes more issues.
Yeah.
So we've got, there's a myriad of crap going on there. I've got 2 properties that are really flooded, working through that. For some reason, I've went like 5 years with no major issues, but this year it kind of stockpiled. I also have a tenant who used illegal drugs in one of our units. So I got a call from the cops, and the cops are like, hey, do you know this tenant? I'm like, oh, I've never even met him, but happy to obviously cooperate with whatever needs done. And then I have another property.
Did they OD in the house or like?
So I actually haven't even been up to see this unit yet, but the female in the relationship OD'd and had to be taken to the hospital. But from what the police officer told me, they were savvy enough / have done this enough that she exited the house before being caught. And they I don't know if they destroyed the evidence, but she OD'd and had to be taken to the hospital, and then the guy ran. And so I didn't even evict him. I actually didn't even sign a lease with this guy because it was just a short thing. It's an Airbnb that we just rented out over the winter to like a guy that he paid me 2 months deposit up front, paid me a cleaning deposit. Like I thought it was all, I'm like, oh, it's great. You know,
turns out it's drug money.
Yeah. And that's one of the properties that I manage myself. And I should just, one of my rules is I put everything on the property manager, and I didn't with that one.
Yeah.
So that's on me. But yeah, we'll have to redo that whole.
So do you have to gut it? Like,
I don't know. I haven't been up there yet.
Okay. So
I had a kid go clean it out. I'm sure it needed some work anyways. So I'm sure we'll have to repaint. I'm sure we'll have to do, there's no carpet, which is a good thing in these situations. And there's also no HVAC because it's just a small house. So that's also a good thing.
Just cadet heaters?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That'll make it easier too. Yeah.
So I don't know what all has to happen there. I kind of am just like not caring until I have to care.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens when we get there.
Good way to manage stress. Just don't care about it until you get there.
We'll deal with it when it becomes a priority.
So you had your house flood, you had 2 rentals flood, and you had this drug issue in the rental.
All within like a 7-day period. It was wild.
Yeah. I remember when you called me about obviously your first, I was kind of helping you with that transaction on one of the places that flooded. And then you hit me with like, yeah, I also have another place that just flooded and I'm dealing with that. I'm like, dude, you're getting put through the ringer right now. Yeah. And I quote, like Garret said, yeah, I'm done with real estate. I'm selling everything. And then all of a sudden I turn around, he's buying 24 more units. Like, so obviously it didn't scare you away too bad with these properties. But that's like, I think it's important to know, we can talk about your 48 units that you have and the cash flows that come out of that. But there's things that happen with all those units. And even if you have a property manager, it's like you still have to get involved with making some decisions on how you're going to handle the flood and evidently still pay for any kind of those damages that occur. It hasn't turned you off at all with real estate though?
No, like, I guess I believe in real estate so much. I also think social media has created a culture where everybody thinks like it's a get rich quick thing. 100%. And like I knew coming in, and I still know, like real estate's not a get rich quick thing. Like it's a long-term wealth. And so all these units, like I've made money on all these units, and I will make more money on all these units. And I have other units that I've gotten lucky with. Like I have a cabin that I bought in Island Park that I never thought I'd make money on. And I'm like, oh, it doubled in value.
Yeah.
Like you have windfalls, you have losses. You just gotta roll with the punches.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried to just keep that mentality, and yeah, I mean, it sucks. Like I obviously wish that those things didn't happen. There's definitely stress involved. Like concerns about what insurance will actually cover, concerns about what my liabilities actually are, concerns about, did I do this wrong? Did I do this right? So there is like lessons to be learned in this process. I went and met with my insurance agent, make sure I'm perfect on everything. Like there's lessons to be learned, but I still really believe in real estate.
Yeah.
And to me, like when I look 10 years down the road, these things are small.
Yeah.
Like I think the opportunity is still enormous.
Yeah. And I love what you said at the beginning of that conversation. You said, put things into perspective, like what you dealt with last year versus this year, even the start of this year with all those things happening. Your perspective was like, people, you could take it all away. And as long as I got the people that I care about that are healthy, then I'm pumped. And Gary Vee's been saying that like online for years. And, everybody's like, oh yeah, he's just pumping smoke. But it's so true. It's like, you could take everything that we have away and I would be pumped to rebuild it as long as all my people I care about are there and healthy. And so I think putting that into perspective makes managing these things a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice would you give, those out there that are looking to get into the real estate game or looking to get into sales? Like what lessons would you give? Advice?
I would say hitch your wagon to I never use that phrase. So it's funny I'm using it twice, but hitch your wagon to the right company. Like don't go with somebody who isn't doing what you want to do. Go with somebody who's doing what you want to do. A big thing in sales is obviously the commission or the commission split for real estate. Those things all matter. Like it's for sure part of the equation.
Yeah.
But if you don't produce, if you don't level up, if you don't grow, like they matter way less. I have a sales rep I'm going to make a video about in the coming weeks because I'm really proud of this. got him under contract on an off-market fourplex, and it appraised at like $80,000 more than what he's buying it for.
Wow.
So it's like, dude, he for sure could go somewhere else and get a commission that's 5 or 10% higher. But like, so what? He's making $75,000 on this one deal, and we've got dozens of others that we're going to do. And honestly, like, I think we've also helped him produce more of than he would have somewhere else. And so I think, like, whether you're a real estate agent, whether you're someone looking to get into sales, whether you're a door-to-door guy, like whatever it is, be with the group that does the things that you believe in and that you want to be a part of. Yeah. And that matters more than anything else.
Preach. Say it louder for the people in the back. No, because we're in the same kind of industry where, you know, we recruit or bring on agents, and you bring on sales guys, and there's other places that they could go.
Yeah. And
the splits might be a little bit better. But I think you hit it on the head. It's like, cool. A whole grape is not as good as a 25% of a watermelon, you know? So it's like, ultimately look at like, where are you going to get fed the most? And then also what opportunities are going to get fed to you outside of that? Bring in deals, like that one deal that you brought him could make up for like his whole summer of selling, you know? And so look at, are they doing what you want to do? And are they going to be able to provide opportunity or teach you how to do things outside of just selling? And so I love that you guys are doing that. I think it's super, super good advice for anybody that's looking to get into sales or into real estate. Tie yourself to somebody that is doing what you want to do, that is living the life that you want to live, and can provide more opportunity to you, not just let you keep more of the one transaction that you're going to do or the 10 accounts that you're going to sell.
I think like one of the things that I'm most proud of, pride's obviously not typically a great thing, but I think it's okay to be proud of this. Like, I've always been the guy who did what I'm saying to do. Like, I've never once like switched companies, and Aptiv has always given me like an abundance of opportunities. Yeah. And I got to give credit to Chandler too. Like, I'm sure I could have pushed Chandler earlier on and said, pay me more, I'm leaving. Like, I for sure could have done that. I never did. And Chandler's helped me build massive amounts of wealth through real estate. Even like, I'm on Anthony's real estate team. I'm like a very part-time. I don't show up to most things, but the commission split, like, I was at a discount brokerage before, and the commission split theoretically is more favorable. Yeah. But I've for sure built more wealth and made more money by joining your team. Yeah. And that's a tribute to you guys and a tribute to everything that you guys do. So like, I really believe that. And I also have walked the walk with that. And I think it's paid off in a big way.
100%. We got a guy that's like that. Jace on our team. Yeah. He's super committed to the team, super committed to us, is always looking for ways to like grow within the team. And he gets people that call him, other teams that recruit him, like, hey, how are things going over there? How are you feeling about things? And he's someone that I can always count on to like stick up for the team and want to be a part of this. And we will always 100% take care of those people. Yeah. It's the ones that like, they come to you after being there for a year and they're like, I want a higher pay and stuff. And you're like, show me you're committed. And like, I promise you, if you ride this ride with us, we're going to take care of the people that were committed to us. Yeah. But a lot of people are just scared. I think it's a lot of it is they just want that immediate, the immediate gratification of getting a little bit higher split or a little bit higher, like a little bit more benefit now. But if you would have switched companies like 5 years ago,
I'd never be where I am.
Who knows where you'd be? Yeah. But you stuck it out and you trusted the process. So I think I need to have you come talk to the team. That's what we need.
I'd be honored, man.
Spit some facts on what they should be doing. But you've got a lot of knowledge, and I love having these conversations with you. I love that you share the stuff about your life coach, because I think there's a lot of valuable lessons in there. Would you recommend getting a life coach for people out there, or a coach?
I think I would if it's the right person. Like, if it's one of the things that I appreciate most about Nate is like, he doesn't need me. Like, it's not like I'm paying his salary. Like, correct. I do pay him, but I think it's more of like a genuine interaction. And I think there has to be some financial side of it as well to keep like me. And like, if I wasn't paying for it, I probably wouldn't take it as serious. Yep. So I would recommend it if you get the right person. And how you find the right person, I don't know. I got lucky. People who I care about recommended him, and yeah, he's amazing. So I would, as long as you can find the right person.
Yeah, I agree that incentive drives behavior. You got to have some incentive there for him to show up and for you to show up. But I love that you're not paying for he's not a guru on Instagram that is counting on you to buy his course or his coaching. He is somebody that is well established and he will be fine with or without you. Yeah. But you have the opportunity to learn from him from where he's at. So, okay. Well, I know we probably even went over on time there, but I appreciate you taking the time, Garret, to come back on the podcast. I know, and share the story, share the struggles you've been with over the last year, share what you're doing and the lessons you've learned. It really means a lot. And I know that there's going to be a lot of golden nuggets that people are going to be able to take from this. So appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you too. And feelings very mutual. You're one of the best dudes I know and younger than me, but I look up to you a ton. So.
Yo, man, I don't know about that.
Got to get after it. Cold plunge this summer.
Appreciate you, dude. Okay, till next time. Let's catch you guys later.
Don't listen to people who lose or you'll do the same. Stop talking to people who don't give a what you saying. Stop spending your money on weed, go hop on a plane. Stop pointing the finger and start taking some of the blame. Let me put you on game. Control your emotions, most of the time it's really not worth it. Don't be ashamed and beat yourself up for not being perfect.